Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, verse 19 and 20. I'm sorry I was on the wrong page live. I hope you're connected now. Bhutagrama sevayam bhutva bhutva praliyate ratriyagame vashaha partha pravanti aragame bhutva grama sevayam bhutva bhutva praliyate ratriyagame vashapartha prabhavati aragame. Again and again the day comes, and this host of beings is active. And again, night falls, O Partha, and they are helplessly dissolved. There is no purpose, so we'll go to verse 20. Parastasma tubhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha ya sarveshu bhuteshu nasyastu na vinashyati. Parastasma tubhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha ya sarveshu bhuteshu nasyatsu na vinashyasi. Parastasma tubhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yasa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. Yet there is another nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifest and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. Purport. Krishna's superior spiritual energy is transcendental and eternal. It is beyond all the change of material nature, which is manifest and annihilated during the days and nights of Brahma. Krishna's superior energy is completely opposite in quality to the material nature. Superior and inferior nature are explained in the 7th chapter. Parastasmat tubhavanyo vyakta vyakto sanatanaha yasa sarveshu bhuteshu nasyatsu na vinashyati. So this is the most important lesson to be learned from Bhagavad Gita. The lesson is that this material world in which we live in is temporary and it is annihilated in due course of time. Whereas there is another nature, parastasmat, which is superior, vyakto vyakta sanatana. It is beyond something which is manifested and unmanifested. It is sanatana. It is eternal. And it is the only place where our aspirations, where our desires, where our nature will be completely and fully satisfied. In this material world, we can be partially satisfied. We may create a loving family, we may create a loving relationship, and it is partially satisfactory. Even to create a loving family or a loving relationship, there has to be compromise. Because we have our interest. I love someone because something about that person attracts me. I want that. I have a desire. It is not unalloyed. It is not pure. But it is a fact that the more we display unalloyed love, the more we are able to give without expecting any return, the happier we become. Because that is our nature. It is beyond giving and taking. It is what it is. Our eternal relationship with God is a fact. It is what it is. It cannot be changed. It is Nitya Siddha. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Shadya Kabuna. You cannot get it from any other place. Where do you get it from? Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Karaudo. Simply by hearing, we clean our consciousness, we clean the mirror of our mind, and it becomes automatically manifested because it is already there. This is the This is the driving force of a pure devotee. This is a driving force that brought Prabhupada from India, from his meditations and ecstasies in Vrindavan to the Ugrastan, to the ugly place of New York City. It brought him there because he understood that even in the Ugrastan, even in the most degraded place, still the spirit soul is there. So we awaken our spirituality not by any material pious activity. It makes me sad when I see some devotees promoting vegetarianism or promoting some good mode of goodness activity without emphasizing the need of Krishna consciousness. Because with Krishna consciousness, automatically we will become vegetarians, automatically we will become non-violent, automatically we will become good persons, because everything in connection with Krishna becomes purified. Iron may be contaminated by many external elements, but if you put it in fire, that iron becomes cleansed. It becomes glowing hot. In fact, when it becomes red hot, it ceases being iron and it becomes fire. In the same way, when we connect our consciousness to the Supreme Consciousness, Krishna, who is unlimited times more purifying than fire, then our consciousness becomes purified. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. This is our main business. It comes before anything else, because if we do this business, everything else follows behind. Just like on a train, all the wagons follow the engine. If the engine is not there, you can have so many wagons and you can have so many people in the wagons doing so many activities, but they're not going anywhere. You need that engine to drive it, and that engine is Krishna. Krishna is the only one who has the power to bring us from temporary material enjoyment to fulfillment in eternal life. Sat Chit Ananda. What does that mean? That means eternity. We want eternity. We struggle for it. We don't want to die. There are histories of people who perform so many severe austerities to try and become eternal. The classic example is Hiranyakashipu. He performed so many austerities. He blocked the entire universe. Lord Brahma had to come and bow down before him and say, "What do you want? How can you stop these austerities? You are disturbing the entire universe." And Hiranyakashipu said, "I want to be immortal." And Lord Brahma said, "It's not possible. I am not immortal, so I cannot give you immortality. You cannot give what you don't have." So on the material platform, we may have so many good material things, but they are temporary. They do not give us the sat, this eternity which we are longing for. Why do we long for eternity? Because we are eternal. But when we identify with the body, then we think we are temporary. It's just like if you relate with a dog. Dog's consciousness is limited by his body. He can only bark, he cannot speak. His way of emoting is different to a human being. He cannot put his feelings into words. He cannot understand he can be more than a dog. He cannot understand that he's a spirit soul, because he's limited by his body, because he's identifying with the body. Similarly, in the human form of life, we are limited by our body. A child cannot act and speak as an adult. But when he becomes an adult, he is given the facility to understand what is his relationship with Sat, Chit and Ananda. What is his relationship with eternity, knowledge and bliss. He can understand that he can go beyond the body. Therefore, it is very important in spiritual life that we control the senses, because by controlling the senses, we understand we are spirit. It's just like if you're driving a motor car. If you're in control of the car, then you can speak on the phone, you can listen to the radio, you can speak to the fellow passengers, you can go on with your life independently of driving the car. But if the car is out of control, If you're driving at high speed and suddenly there is some accident or a tire blows, suddenly the car is skidding on the highway, what? Are you going to listen to your radio then? You're going to sing a song while the car is going into a crash? No, you're going to be in complete panic, holding on to the wheel, hoping for the best that the car will come to a stop without causing you any injury. So in the same way, this material body, it is like a motor car going in a crash, except that the crash is in very, very slow motion. It takes 100 years before the complete crash is finished, but the crash will come, and it is called death. And Krishna says the only way you can become free from this motor car, if you remember me at the moment of death, yam yam vapi smaram bhavam tyajate ante kalevaram. At the ante kalevaram, when the body comes to an end, when the body finally crashes, yam yam smarati, whatever you're thinking of, tada sadbhava bhavita. You will always go to that stage. That is the science of the transmigration of the soul. But it is not being taught. We are struggling in material life. We become frustrated with our relationship, frustrated with our family, frustrated with our material goods. People are committing suicide. People are becoming drug addicts. People are becoming criminals, killing each other. We are taking Krishna's energy and we are using it to control other people, to control other countries. We are simply exploiting Mother Nature because we don't know that we are not the body. And we don't know because the body is out of control. Because the mind and senses and the intelligence, which is supposed to control them, is materially motivated. We have to take the intelligence from Krishna. That's why we read Bhagavad Gita, because by taking his intelligence, we can understand how to overcome our situation, our slow motion crash. If we don't understand there is a possibility to become free from material life, if we don't understand we have an eternal relationship with God, if we don't understand that we can actually achieve the status of Sat, of eternity, then how can we get there? First, we must know. Therefore, it is said that the process of life begins with hearing. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Shakyam, Atmani, Vedanam. Nana Vida Bhakti. This is the 9 processes of Bhakti, and it specifically says Vishnu. We have to hear about Vishnu, we have to speak about Vishnu, we have to remember Vishnu, glorify him, serve him, become his friend, surrender everything, offer prayers, and that will awaken our eternal relationship. That will bring us back into control of the body, and once we're in control of the body, a whole new universe opens, beyond the body. We understand that the body is important, but it is not all important. Certainly we have to feed the body. Certainly we have to live like good human beings. I'm not saying that being a vegetarian is not good. I'm not saying that being a good person is not something we shouldn't strive for. Yes, we should. We should help each other. But that help has to be connected with Krishna. Otherwise, we don't come out of the material world. Antakale chamameva smaram mutma kalevaram yaprayati. Antekale, at the end of this body, we have to be God conscious. That will stop the process of birth and death. Otherwise, we will continue from one body to another, one body to another. So it makes me sad when I see sometimes on Facebook, on video, devotees who should know better supporting becoming a vegetarian or taking care of cows or feeding people. You can only do those things if you first make a very strong point that those things only work if they are connected to Krishna. If I'm connected to Krishna, I am automatically a vegetarian. I automatically love God. I automatically glorify God. I automatically become detached from material sense enjoyment. In other words, the summum bonum, the goal of life of Christianity, to love the Father, is automatically in Krishna consciousness, because we love Krishna, and Krishna is the Supreme Father. But he is more than a father. He is our friend. He is our master. He is our guide. He is our child. Krishna will reciprocate with us in any way we approach him. Even if we approach Krishna in anger or in envy, Krishna will still purify. Kamsa and Shishupala were extremely envious of Krishna. Kamsa was Krishna's uncle. Shishupala was Krishna's cousin. They were family members, but they hated Krishna with a passion, and Krishna killed them. But because they were killed by Krishna, they became liberated. This is the power of Krishna. Whatever you put in Krishna becomes purified. If the fire is big enough, you can put the whole universe into the fire, and the universe will be burnt up and purified. So this is the process. So it is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, hearing about Krishna, and that was personified by Maharaj Parikshit. Maharaj Parikshit was the emperor of the entire world. He became cursed by a Brahmana boy to die within 7 days. He could have counteracted the curse. He was a pure Vaishnava. He was powerful enough. But he decided to accept it as a blessing from Krishna. That here, Krishna is giving me notice, in 7 days I will die. Wonderful. Let me spend my time hearing and chanting about him so I can make an end to material life. Krishna is calling me back to his lotus feet. Therefore, he could have passed those 7 days in any way he wanted. He could have heard from anybody. After all, he was the emperor. All the great sages came to see him. He decided, no, I will sit on the Ganges, and automatically when he accepted that this is Krishna's arrangement for me, then the process of hearing was manifested in the form of Sukadeva Goswami. Who was Sukadeva Goswami? Sukadeva Goswami was the son of Vyasadeva. And he was in the womb of his mother when he heard his father reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam. And by hearing the Bhagavatam, he became completely free from impersonal ideas about God. And he became a pure devotee. His pure devotion became manifested. It was already there. Therefore, from the moment of his birth, he left his home. Even his father requested him, my son, why do you leave? And Sukadeva said, because I am attracted to Krishna. So his father said, stay with me. Stay with your family. Sukadeva said, no, you are attached to me. Just see, you're attached to family. I don't want that attachment. And he left and he wandered like a madman all over the world, not wearing any clothes. And by Krishna's arrangement, he was brought on the banks of the Ganges just when Parikshit Maharaj was inquiring, now that this my moment of dying is coming, what should I do? What should I hear and chant about to be ready for this moment of death? And because of his sincere inquiry, then Krishna provided him Sukadeva Goswami, who recited the Srimad Bhagavatam. So by hearing Bhagavatam, Parikshit became liberated, Shravanam. Kirtanam, by speaking Bhagavatam, Sukadeva became perfect. Smaranam, remembering, that is personified by Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was a little boy. He was the son of the demon Hiranyakashipu. He became a devotee also in the womb of his mother. His mother was captured by the demigods because she was the wife of Hiranyakashipu. And Indra wanted to kill her. And Narada said, no. First of all, it is not proper to kill a woman. Indra replied, but I agree, but within the womb is the son of the demon Hiranyakashipu. We want to kill him. That's why we want to kill her. And Narada said, no, I actually happen to know that this boy, this fetus in the womb of his mother is a great devotee. So I will take care of him. I will take care of her at my ashram. So the demigods, they circumambulated Narada and left the mother of Prahlad Maharaj with Narada Muni. And every day she would hear Narada Muni speak on the science of spiritual life. And Narada had a desire that the embryo, that the child in the womb should also hear, should also be benefited. And by that hearing, Prahlad Maharaj became a great devotee of Krishna. And even though his father persecuted him, he tried to kill him in so many ways to try and break his devotion, Prahlad never stopped remembering for one moment Lord Vishnu. And therefore, he became perfect by remembering. So, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam refers to Lakshmi Devi. Lakshmi Devi is always perfect at massaging the lotus feet of the Lord. And that is her perfection. So she is the perfection of Padasevanam. Many, many devotees, especially in South India, in the Ramanuja Sampradaya and in the Madhva Sampradaya, they are very much attracted to serving the lotus feet of the Lord. Serving the lotus feet of the Lord means you accept your subordination to the Lord. You accept him as the master. Those lotus feet are the shelter of the greatest devotees. And even Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he prays that Patita kinkara dhori, pada padma duli kori, deo bhakati vinoda shrai. Please, Patita kinkara dhori, please take your Patita kinkara, your fallen servant, dhori, pick him up, pada padma duli kori, and put him as a particle of dust at your lotus feet. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he prayed in the same way. Hey Nanda Tanuja, my dear Nanda Tanuja, son of Nanda Maharaj, my dear Krishna, Kinkaram Patitam Mam, I am your fallen eternal servant. Tava Pada Pankaja Stita Duli Sadrisham Vichintaya. Please take me and put me as a dust at the soles of your lotus feet. So worshipping the lotus feet of Krishna is very powerful, and it is manifested specifically by Lakshmi Devi. And in fact, Lakshmi Devi is the originator of the Ramanuja Sampradaya. Therefore, worshipping the lotus feet of the Lord is very, very important in that Sampradaya. I traveled extensively in South India, and I was inspired and amazed by the great devotion that those devotees have for the lotus feet of the Lord, which free you from anger, free you from pride, free you from identifying with the body. So, Padasevanam, Archanam. Archana means offering service to the Lord in the temple. That was personified by Prithu Maharaj. Prithu Maharaj was a great king who re-established the principles of religion on the earth, and he established great worship in the temple. So Prithu Maharaj is a personification of Archanam. Then Vandanam, offering prayers, is exemplified by Akrura. Akrura was the uncle of Krishna. He came to Vrindavan to bring Krishna and Balaram to Mathura. And when they came to the Jamuna River, they took bath, and within the water of the Jamuna River, Akrura offered wonderful prayers to Krishna and Balaram. And actually those prayers were so powerful, he was able to see Krishna and Balaram in the water. And when he came out of the water, he saw they were sitting on the chariot, and he was amazed how this was possible. So that is called Vandanam, offering prayer. And then Shakyam, being the friend of Krishna, is personified by Arjuna. Arjuna is the eternal friend of Krishna. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that you and I have had many, many births. Bahuni mevyati tani jammani tava Arjuna. Both you and me have had bahuni, many, many, many jammani, many, many births. Tamaham Veda Sarvani, I know them all. Tam aham, those, all. Veda Sarvani, I know them all. Veda, no, and Sarvani means all. Natvam Veta Parantapa. But my dear Parantapa, powerful as you may be, you do not remember. But Krishna was explaining to Arjuna that even though many millions and millions of years ago, he explained the science of yoga to Vivaswan, Imam Vivasvati Yogam Proktavam Aham Avyayam. I explained the science to the sun god. You were also there, my dear Arjuna, but you forget. That is the difference between the Supreme Soul and the individual soul. We forget when we get another material body, but Krishna does not forget. But if we become Krishna conscious, that forgetfulness becomes eradicated. You become knowledge, smriti labdha. you get your, at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna said to Krishna that by your mercy, I have regained my knowledge. Tvat prasadad mayachuta, by your mercy. I forget the verse, but let me see. I have it here. No, I don't. Anyhow. Tatusmi gata sandeya korishe vachanamtara. Because of your mercy, the gata sandeya, the purpose of life, I've remembered. Korishe, therefore I will do vachanamtara, what you have instructed me. This is the reason, this is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. This is the purpose of bhakti. That is the purpose of life, is to understand our relationship with Krishna. Then everything will follow. In Christianity, Lord Jesus preached love of God. Love of God is automatically there in Krishna Bhakti. And it is because it is given directly by Krishna. It is unalloyed. It is pure love. It is not contaminated. It's not that we love God only if He supplies us our daily needs. No, we love God whether He supplies or doesn't supply. That is the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ashlishava, whether you embrace me. Padaratam, whether you stamp on me with your feet. Pinashtumam. Adarshanam marmahatam karotiva. Whether because you're not visible before me, you break my heart. Mat prananata su naeva. Mat prananata tu saeva na para. You will always remain my prananath. The full love of God is already there. And in Islam, the offering of prayers 5 times a day is very important to glorify the Lord. But automatically in Krishna consciousness, you don't have to go to the temple. You don't have to go to the mosque. You don't have to pray 5 times a day. You pray 24 hours a day. That is, when you awaken your eternal relationship with Krishna, there is nothing to be prayed for. The whole life becomes a prayer. We are connected. There is no disconnection. There is no need to pray for anything. Everything will be provided for you. So the purpose of Islam, it is also served in Krishna consciousness. And the purpose of Buddhism, to become free from material designation, that is also included in Krishna consciousness, because we awaken our eternal relationship with God. We become free from the bodily conception. There is no need to become a renunciate. You don't have to renounce anything. Automatically, the varieties of material life will become purified, and those varieties will become connected with Krishna. So by becoming connected with Krishna, we become perfect vegetarians, we become perfect lovers of God, we become perfect, we develop purpose, detachment, perfect knowledge. So that must be stressed. If that is stressed, everything else will follow. I was reading a letter that Prabhupada wrote to one of his devotees who was managing the Back to Godhead magazine, Rayaram. And Rayaram, he wanted to include some articles attacking or criticizing animal slaughter. And Prabhupada said, no, we don't need to do that. Automatically, simply by specifying, simply by accentuating Krishna consciousness, automatically we will become free from the desire to kill animals. We are not against anybody in particular. We understand that people are entangled in material life, and we cannot piecemeal try to fix this. Simply by putting that engine on the front of the train, then all the activities in the wagons become perfected. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So we have some comments. I see Pranjal Joshi from Jaipur is here. Hare Krishna. Atmavidya. Jaya Shri and her husband Toshan Krishnadas from Amsterdam. Albert de Vos, Dandavats, Albert Prabhu, Vishnuvamsa. Vishnuvamsa says, all the assembled devotees are glories of Srila Prabhupada. And there is bad synchronization. Yeah, thank you for the internet. Mandy Pryor is also logged in. Yes, we are living in a virtual world. I must admit to you that it is very, very difficult for me to give classes like this. Ever since I became a devotee, I had an opportunity to give classes, especially in India. I was older, I was more experienced. I became a sannyasi very soon in my devotional career. Therefore, I was always asked to give classes. Morning and evening, I would give classes. And I used to listen to Prabhupada's classes to be able to give me inspiration to speak. But I must tell you, one of the greatest inspiration when you speak is the feedback from the audience. You're not speaking to a screen. It is not virtual. It is the real thing. This is virtual. But thank you to Bhakta Corona. We have to do the best we can. After all, Prabhupada never rejected anything. As soon as he got some money in New York, he was completely broke. He was getting some money by selling his books in different libraries and bookshops. And as soon as he accumulated a little bit of money, the first two things he bought was a typewriter and a tape recorder, because he wanted to immortalize. He wanted to present this philosophy in the best way possible, that even though he may not be perfectly or physically present, still the philosophy is, because the philosophy of Krishna consciousness cuts through any material designation. Thank you very much. Haribol.